Morning everyone, Kermie here, hope you're well. I'm in Wacol in Brisbane and today I'm going to go for a run in this truck down to Sydney. I'm with Matt Wood from the Volvo Group, but I'm not in a Volvo. Today I'm in a Mack, and it is in fact the Mack Anthem, a truck I've been looking forward to getting behind the wheel of for some time, but I've not had the opportunity until now. Here it is, good looking truck. Come along for the ride and we'll let you know what it's like.
Come on, mate, I'm back off.
So we're taking a little break beside the road, just having a breather, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to look across to the jump seat and where we've got Matt Wood from the Volvo Group. Matt, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Mate, I've enjoyed the drive so far. We're 400k or so down the road from Wacol now.
Yep.
And I must say, what a pleasure it's been to drive this beautiful truck, mate. My first time in a Mack.
Yep.
But this is, well, it's got everything that you'd want. The vision out the front is great. We'll do some video of that later so the folks can see. Everything's easy to hand. I mean, it's an easy truck to drive.
Well, I'm biased, obviously, so yeah, you know what I'm going to say. But yes, they are a nice bit of gear to drive. I think you hit it in with the visibility. Like for a conventional, it does have really good visibility. This time round, it's increased even more because we've got a new multimedia unit in the middle of the dash, and using this multimedia unit allows us to have a lot more camera feeds. And now, even though this is quite a sloping bonnet for a conventional, there's also a camera underneath the Bulldog there. So, and that's at low speed, that camera comes on in traffic, and that stops you maybe not seeing a pedestrian who's not thinking about what they're doing as they're walking through traffic, or
Sure.
or maybe, you know, you forgot the car in front of you had a little 6x4 trailer on, and you've just run over their load of plywood from Bunnings, whatever.
And I'm sure that's happened to someone in the past.
I'm sure it probably has. Not that I would know anyone that happened to. There's also camera views down the sides of the truck. So what we've done is basically tried to account for all levels where a vulnerable road user might be. So we've got the wider view with the traditional mirrors down the side of the truck. We've got antler mirrors on the bonnet here. They're like an American style. They give her a wider field of view.
I've got to say, they are fantastic.
I think they're great.
Yeah, some people don't like them. I've not used a truck with them before,
Yep.
But I'm sold on them.
The other thing is, obviously standard on the Anthem is the Bendix Wingman Fusion safety system. So that gives you your emergency braking, so automated emergency braking, lane departure warning. Also, you can see we're talking about the display on the side there. That will let you know if there's anything metal beside you. If you flick an indicator on, not only do you get a camera feed, but you also get a warning from this, just a bit of a chirp, just going, hey, there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
That also works. I mean, it's not just a car. Like, you could be in a distribution centre or on site somewhere, and there's a wheelie bin beside, like a steel bin or something like that beside you. It'll pick that up. As will the camera. And there's also some we can fit this depending on your trailers, which depends on the practicality of like whether you have your same trailers all the time or not. But we can have this wide up, so you've got cameras on the trailers as well. So you could have a reverse camera at the very end of a B-double set if you wanted to.
Right. This is a 30-inch bunk, which is
36,
which is standard with this for line haul work.
Yeah, so it's a 36-inch integrated and stand-up walkthrough. So yes, 36-inch would be pretty compact if it was just a little box, but you've actually got this whole living environment. So it and that's an inner spring mattress as well. It's quite a neat little bunk, and it just increases the versatility for those sort of 26 metre combinations.
Yeah. It is comfortable to get up and you can move around easily.
Yep.
You haven't got a Road Ranger stick sitting in the middle of it to get in your way to trip over either.
No, well...
what you've got is a 12-speed automatic.
Well, this one's a 13-speed, so we offer the M Drive in 12-speed, the 13-speed HD, and the 14-speed XHD, which is like a heavy haulage or very heavy cross combination option. This truck has the HD M Drive. One of the reasonings for that is, and we'll get to the engine no doubt at some stage, because it's in some ways the coolest bit of the truck, but as we move towards engine down speeding, and that's getting the truck to cruise at lower RPM, that's usually done with gearing. So the taller we make the gearing, the more we affect the startability of the truck, right? Because you want a taller final drive ratio when you're doing 100k an hour, but if you just do that with a diff, you're going to affect your low speed maneuvering if you're backing a B-double onto a dock or something.
Yeah.
So using a 13 speed gives us a crawler for backing onto docks and hooking up trailers and stuff like that. But then you would have noticed that this truck's only sitting on 1200 RPM at 100k an hour.
Yes, yeah. She's just ticking over.
Yeah, it is, and that's because it's got a 309 final drive ratio and an overdrive transmission, which brings the RPM down. And why do we want to bring the RPM down?
Fuel efficiency.
Absolutely, and that's what this truck's all about. Yeah. This has got the new MP8 HE engine, so it's a 13 litre, 500 horsepower, but 2800 newton metre power plant.
That's huge torque out of a 13 litre motor.
Yeah, it is.
And that is quite phenomenal, actually.
It's up there with our current sort of 16 litre 600 kind of offering. In terms of, I think that's from the top of my head 2880 newton meters. So And don't ask me why I still know that, but I do.
You made a comment as we're driving along earlier about the difference between power and torque.
Yes,
Everyone talks
absolutely.
about the power numbers, and everyone likes to quote 770 horses or 600 horses or
Yep.
whatever it might be. But the difference between power and torque, as you described it before, was
That horsepower is how fast you're going when you hit the fence, and torque is how far you go through the fence. And that's
I love it. It's a good line.
and as I said to you too, like torque is actually a measurable output. It's not horsepower is a calculation. So you're dealing with definites, and that's what gets you up the hill.
Yeah.
When you're hauling, this isn't a sports car. It's a commercial vehicle that's built to haul. So and the heart of this, where we get the torque from, is basically this is a turbo compound unit, which means it has a turbocharger, then it has a pressurized turbine housing downstream, and the exhaust gases go through this little turbine, and they spin it at quite high speed, and that power is that turbine is mechanically connected to the crankshaft.
Right, and that's quite audible driving along when you put your foot down, and that's
Yeah.
not to say this is a noisy cab, because it's not. It's far from it, and in fact, you probably hear that more than anything else.
Yeah, it's louder than the turbo.
Yeah.
But it's not intrusively so.
Absolutely
but
not.
it's
No.
interesting. So yeah, this is and because this is a part of the new Euro 6 engine range. It also gets things like low drag cylinder liners, wave top pistons, a new fuel delivery software. It's very much been put together with just delivering as much fuel efficiency as possible, and in the Mack Anthem, quite an aerodynamic kind of package.
Yeah. So your fuel consumption on testing is around 13.5%.
We've
Better than
seen figures up to. I mean, I wouldn't quote one for Anthem publicly, because somebody will always come back and say, "Well, you told me," but we've seen figures as high as 14%.
Right, so it's quite substantial.
Improvement over the equivalent 13-litre Euro 5.
Yeah, this is Euro 6, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's as I said before, a lovely truck to drive. Interesting sound in the background, I hasten to add, of the engine. I mean, we were trying to find a word for it earlier, and I think you said chugging, and I mean, to me, it's almost like a V8 burble.
Yeah.
It just sits there, and I've got to tell you guys, get behind the wheel of this and drive it at some stage, because it's a very pleasant surrounding. The lane departure warning is different. It doesn't scream at you, but I guess you could equate that to the sound of running over a rumble strip.
Yeah.
Which I've done a couple of times. I'm brave enough to admit, but I've maybe only 4 or 5 times, and we're 400k down the road now, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're heading on to beautiful downtown Blacktown,
Yep.
where we'll spend the night, and then Matt's going on with this tomorrow, and I'll be flying home. But lovely truck, mate. A lovely truck. It's comfortable to sit in. These seats deserve a mention. They are super comfortable.
Yep.
As anyone that's read my writings knows, I've got a very sensitive backside, and to date, not a problem. So
I'm glad it appealed to the connoisseur.
Matt, thank you for the drive, mate. We will continue on down the road, and we'll take it into Sydney, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the trip.
Sounds great.
Good on you, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers.